today we'll see water as a universal solvent. So as you know that water can dissolve many of the substances. Alright, many substances can dissolve in water, forming the aqueous solution. The aqueous solution means the solution made by water. Not only the solids but also gases and other liquids also can dissolve in water, even the inorganic substances also. And that is why we rarely get the pure water. Yes or no? In nature, because water can dissolve many of the substances, and that is why water is called universal solvent. Next is water has a high dielectric constant. What is dielectric constant? That means it can reduce the electrostatic force. Electrostatic force means what? When a compound is formed. Compound is formed by either by electrovalent bond or by covalent bond or by coordinate bond. Yes or no? So when the compound is formed, there is one force between the atoms of the molecule. Yes or no? So water can reduce that electrostatic force between the positive and negative ions. You know how the compound is formed? By the combination of positive and negative ions. Like, suppose if I talk about sodium chloride. How sodium chloride is formed? By sodium atom and chlorine atom combined together. And in between there is the bonding between sodium and chlorine, and then only sodium chloride is formed. So water can reduce that force between the atoms of the molecule, and that is why if the force is weak, then the atoms can easily be broken. So that is why the many of the substances can dissolve in water. Even the inorganic compounds which have high electrostatic force between the atoms of the molecules, they also can be broken and they can be dissolved in water. So due to this high dielectric constant only, many of the substances can dissolve in water. Alright, next coming to that things, I hope you all have kept your books open. So next comes how water is universal solvent. Which are the substances can dissolve? You see, substances that are maximum they are apparently insoluble in water. They also actually dissolves in water. We feel that they are insoluble in water, but they also dissolves in water. In traces, means in very small amount, they also are dissolved in water. Okay. Even if we keep water in glass also, after glass also can dissolve in water. And how we come to know? Because if we keep even the distilled water in a glass or in a sealed bottle for a long time, if we keep, then it leaves etchings. Etching is what? One print or mark. Alright, on the surface of the glass. That means water can dissolve even glass also. That is why one print has come. Okay, that is called etching. So in this way we can find out, we can know that how water is universal solvent. Why water? Because of the high dielectric constant. So let us do some experiments. So one experiment is given to show that ordinary tap water contains dissolved solids. You know that even tap water, we may not be able to see that solids are there, but it is proved that solids also can dissolve in water. Even in tap water, some solids are dissolved. So what to do? So put some tap water on a clean watch glass. This is your watch glass. Okay. In a watch glass, we have put some water and place it over a beaker. This is the beaker. We have placed this glass watch on this beaker containing water. That means tap water is here. Okay. Now we will boil this water. We will boil this water in the beaker. Okay. We'll boil this water in the beaker. So when all the water has evaporated, because after boiling, if we boil, what will happen? Water will evaporate. So full water will evaporate from the watch glass. Then we will remove it from the burner. And we will allow it to cool. That means no water is there. Okay, already water is evaporated. So what we will observe? So on looking at the watch glass, now we will see the watch glass, what happens against sunlight. Or sunlight or any light, near the light if we take, what we will see, a number of concentric rings of solid matter are seen. This is called concentric, means no, that one only center is there, one center for many circles. That is called concentric. One center for many circles that is called concentric. Okay, so many concentric rings of solid matter are seen. So these are what? These are the dissolved solids that are left behind after evaporation of water. There is dissolved solid, that is why this ring is formed. So this shows that tap water contains dissolved solids. Alright. Now, tap water, river water, well water, this all contains dissolved solids. Okay, but rain water or distilled water, if we take them, then we'll do the same experiment, then we'll not find any concentric ring. That means they do not contain the dissolved solids. Alright. Next, coming to significance or importance of dissolved solids in water. So there are some importance of those dissolved solids. So what are those significant? What are those importance of the solids? So salts are solid, So salts and minerals are essential for the growth of the plants. Even for us also, minerals are needed. Yes or no? So salts and minerals are essential for growth and development of plant. And due to this solids only, dissolved solids only, they add taste to water. And third, they supply the essential nutrients or essential minerals needed by our bodies. And that is why distilled water is not fit for drinking, as you know. Why? Because distilled water doesn't contain any dissolved solids. Okay, and that is why do we drink rainwater? No, we don't. And even if you taste also rainwater, you will not get any taste. Distilled water, if you drink, that doesn't give any taste because they do not contain any dissolved solids. Alright, so they add taste. Those dissolved solids add taste in water. They supply essential minerals also necessary for our body. These are the importance of dissolved salts in water. Now, air also dissolved in water, as you know. Which are the air? Like oxygen is there, nitrogen is there, carbon dioxide is there. All these air are dissolved in water. And due to this, because as there is air in water, that is why aquatic plants and animals can live in water. Yes or no? Because plants and animals also need gas, air, they need. Okay, so air, but what is the difference between air dissolved in water and air in atmosphere? That percentage composition varies. Okay, percentage composition varies. So air is present in dissolved water, dissolved state. Okay, dissolved state in all in water. Okay, and two main gases in air are oxygen and carbon dioxide is also there. Okay, so and then oxygen is more in water than in atmosphere. You know, nitrogen is 70%, 78% of nitrogen is present in atmosphere and 20% of oxygen is present in atmosphere. Yes or no? But in water, this composition, oxygen is more soluble in water than nitrogen, and that is why oxygen is maximum in water than nitrogen. Okay, so since oxygen is more soluble in water, okay, as compared to nitrogen, and that is why composition of the air dissolved in water differs from the ordinary air, because in ordinary air nitrogen is more, but in water oxygen is more. That is only the difference. Okay, the composition of air dissolved in water, how much composition of air is there? It is 33% of oxygen. Okay, where in air 20% oxygen is there, but in water 33% of oxygen is there compared to 21% in ordinary air, and whereas 66% nitrogen. Okay, whereas in atmosphere how much oxygen is there? 78, and 1% of carbon dioxide. In this way you can compare the air in water and air, different gases in air and different gases in water. Okay, so how to experiment? So let us do one experiment to show that gases are also present in tap water. So what we'll do, this we have taken one round bottom flask, here we have put tap water. Okay, here we have taken tap water, and we'll make the setting as such. Now we'll heat this water, boil this water. Alright, and here what is there? Graduated tube. Graduated tube is what? That means here marks are there. So graduated tube is there. Alright, and here one burette is, this is called burette. Burette is fitted completely with water. Here water is there full, and it is inverted over the end of the, this is the delivery tube. Okay, and here in the, this is the trough, water is present here. Alright, and here this, we have taken the tube, graduated tube is there, we have taken the graduated tube. Alright, and water is, we have taken in a trough, and we'll boil the, heat this tap water, this your round bottom flask will heat. So what we'll observe, thus gas bubbles are seen escaping from water. Gas bubbles are seen escaping from water. So they are collected in the this is the graduated tube. So they are collected by downward displacement of water. We have taken full water here. So water will come down. That is called downward displacement. And this air which is coming out from when we are heating we are boiling the tap water, gas is coming because we have sealed this bottle full. So where the gas will go? Gas will come from this delivery tube, and these bubbles will come up because these are the gases. So they will come and collect over this tube. Okay, and this was filled with water. This downward displacement of water, that means water level will come down, gases will go up. Okay, so the water vapor present in the gases condenses. If we cool, so they will condense on coming in contact with cold water, because we have taken here water, no cold water. So what conclusion we get? So the remaining gases come from air dissolved in water. From where this air you are getting? Because everywhere it is sealed. Here also you can see this is closed. Here also nothing is there. Then from where this air, this gas has come? This gas has come from this tap water only. That means tap water contains dissolved air. Okay. So this we do. So the volume of the gas collected in the graduated tube shows the presence of dissolved gases in tap water. And the solubility of gas is often expressed by the volume of that gas dissolved in a certain volume of solvent. Solvent is what? Solvent is your water here. So suppose if we take, how we say that solubility. What is solubility? Solubility means how much water, how much the salt or dissolved solids or dissolved gases can dissolve in a particular solvent. That is called solubility. So solubility of hydrogen in water is expressed in 0.02 volume of hydrogen per unit volume of water at 0 degree centigrade. So solubility, how we express how much gas is dissolved in how much of solvent. That means the water at a particular temperature, that we mention in solubility. Okay. Or we can say 506 volume of hydrogen chloride per unit volume of water at 0 degree centigrade. So gases dissolved in water can be easily expelled by boiling water. Okay. How gas can be removed from water? Only by boiling, simply boiling. Okay. So distilled water, once again, distilled water and boiled water have no taste. Why? Because there is no gas. Because how we get distilled water? By boiling water only. So when we boil water, what happens? Gas escapes. So no gas remains. That is why they are tasteless. So the pleasant taste of distilled water is due to the presence of dissolved matter. Okay, like carbon dioxide and minerals. So what is the importance of air in dissolved in water? What is the importance? Because of who need those dissolved gases? The aquatic plants and animals. So air dissolved in water is significantly very important. For whom? For marine life, like fish. They take oxygen of the dissolved water. Okay. For respiration they need. Then aquatic plants are there. So carbon dioxide there. Carbon dioxide is helpful for photosynthesis, as you know. Then carbon dioxide dissolved in water reacts with limestone, that means calcium carbonate, to form calcium bicarbonate. So marine organisms such as aquatic plants and animals, they need those dissolved oxygen and carbon dioxide.